First day of minicamp, this man, Jordyn Tyson, already looking the part. We've said it over and over. The train's already full. You can't get on. We won't let you on even if you try. Even if you try to climb onto the back of the caboose and hang on for dear life, dragging your feet, we will knock you off like the Christmas Story kid climbing up the slide and Santa saying, ho, 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 ho.
Live from the TheFantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Jordyn Tyson, according to the New Orleans football Nick Underhill reporter, this kid's movements and route running, and might I add my own little piece to this, ball tracking skills, looked every bit as advertised on the first day of rookie minicamp. This is the next CeeDee Lamb. And whether you want to believe that or not, whether you want to be careful, Caleb, but oh my God, Smitty, but we've heard this story before. I heard you talk about Genty. I heard you talk about MSJ, Smitty. As if you are unable to look at 1 year differently than another, separate your PTSD of players not performing or underperforming. Every single player is different. Every single scenario is different. Every single situation is different. Every single coaching decision is different. Every single rookie will excel differently. Every quarterback wide receiver relationship is different. Jordyn Tyson is the next CeeDee Lamb. And we've said it from the beginning. My eyeballs aren't lying to me. I don't care what anybody says about his injury history. I've already broken that down. I'll probably have another video on Jordyn Tyson other than this week that will break down his injury history, break down everything, break down the mischaracterizations of what he's bringing to the table risk-wise and upside-wise. And he's going to be just an absolute monster. The way this man ball tracks the football, the ball is being thrown over his head, and he'll literally lean back and track a football while he's running, 80% speed. Stuff that other receivers can't even fathom doing. They don't have the ability to do. And his dancing at the line of scrimmage is sometimes characterized as overdoing things, unnecessary movement. Then you got, Twitter MDs on Twitter going, oh, if you watch his way it cuts in his shin level and he's going to tear his ACL based on the way he moves at the line of scrimmage. These people, I don't know what they're doing. I don't really care. This kid's amazing. None of his injuries are tied together. Almost every single one of them a freak situation, broken collarbone. That thing grows back stronger. So, okay, good. Break the other one. Let's make that one strong too. Let's make him.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Let's make him invincible. Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about collarbone? We're not talking about a game. We're talking about practice. We're talking about a collarbone. Collarbone's light work. What are we talking about? Grows back stronger. His other one's the weak link. It hasn't been broken yet. Oh, but Smitty, he blew his knee out in 2021, 2022 territory, Smitty. That was so long ago. The man had his best season right after. Are we really talking about a 4-year-old knee injury that has no remnants at all? No, but Smitty, I heard on another channel that his knee's still a concern. I don't really know why. I just saw him say that on the Mickey Mouse channel, Smitty. On the Mickey Mouse platform, they talked about this. They said it's a problem. Well, I'm telling you, it's not a problem. So think what you want. The hamstring issue, it came back because he tried to rush himself for the combine. You can't blame the kid. The injury happened at a very, very bad time. And then he had to get ready for the combine, and he goes out there and goes a little too early and starts feeling it, and he pulls back, and he says, I guess I'll have to do my own workout right before the NFL draft, which frankly was also pushing it, but he was like, I got to do this. But he ran a risk of re-aggravating it, and then people would have been like, his hammy's cooked, when really it's just he's not able to get the right amount of time to heal it. So thank God the man stepped out of that workout without a pulled hamstring, or people would have been sending him to the third round. And it would have been a steal for some team that overlooked the situation. But I'm not worried about this kid's injury history at all. This is a phenom, a guy that goes out onto the line of scrimmage and does a little song and dance, and you don't even know what direction he's going. His footwork, his ability to get off the line, it's like really no other in the class. You could say Carnell Tate does this really well. Jordyn Tyson does this really well. Carnell Tate does this. He doesn't drop a football. Maybe Tyson drops a football here and there like a CeeDee Lamb. But he also catches footballs that other people can't even get to. So it's a give and a take. And not to mention, he is a very good player with very good hands that I'm not worried about drops or anything. I'm not trying to emphasize that there's a drop problem. There's no drop problem. There's a drop problem when you compare anyone to Carnell Tate because he doesn't drop the football ever, which is a great quality, but it doesn't mean he's getting to the places on the field or getting open in the exact same ways that Jordyn Tyson is getting open. This is a monster. This is a beast. This is a chupacabra in the making. This is potentially a top 5 to 10 wide receiver in the making. This is a guy that in Dynasty I'm trading for at every turn. I did a trade the other day where I got Nico and Jordyn Tyson, and I traded JJ away. And honestly, as much as I worry a little bit about Nico's longevity compared to a JJ, this is a great type of move where you're adding another top 5 to 10 player, and if it doesn't work out, Nico carries his weight. He still carries his weight. That's a move I highly recommend people look into. Simi Valley with a $2 hauler over on the Rumble. Hammer time, $20 super chat on the Rumble. Let me screenshot that bad boy. Hammer time in a full effect. We got Landman in the building over on Rumble. We got a super chat over on YouTube. I'll get to in 1 second. Let's hit that hammer time. Any $20 super chats or above.
It's hammer time.
Get immediate attention. I smell meatloaf. Thank you, Hammer, for dropping the super chat. Hammer says the following on screen here. Good for Breece Hall, but unfortunately feel bad for his career. It's kind of like I feel bad for him, but this is kind of like Diana Rossini's husband. Like you feel bad for him, but at the same time, he's making his own bed. He's literally going to bat for her, saying how proud he is. And he's proud of everything she's done, and she had to get ahead. And this is before other stuff came out, so we don't really know what her husband's really feeling. But point is, like Breece Hall has been like, he hasn't been dragging his feet. Maybe I want to stay, maybe I don't. It's just like Barkley. Barkley almost got screwed out of that Philadelphia landing spot if he had gotten his way, because Barkley was dragging his feet, wanting to stay in New York. Breece Hall could have made a stink. Breece Hall could have tried, him and his agent, to make noise to get traded. He didn't. So in a way, it's almost his own fault. Appreciate you, Smitty. Thank you. Appreciate you, Hammer. But Hammer's right. Good for Breece. Let's give Breece Hall an attaboy.
Let him cook. Get Breece.
Breece Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall.
It's so funny how full circle that video was made so many years ago. He climbed into the top 5, and then we'd play it, and it'd be like, in the third, don't stall. Just give Batman the mother freaking ball. And people are like, 3rd round? He's a top 5 overall pick, Smitty. I'm like, the video was made. Like, we were ahead of the curve. And now he's back in the 3rd round. So it's like, if I had changed it, then we'd have to change it back. It's so funny. Full circle, he's now a 3rd rounder. And we talked about this on the earlier show. We'll get to the Breece Hall here in 1 second. Actually, let's get to the Breece Hall in 1 second. Let me finish this Jordyn Tyson situation. Thank you, Simi, for the super chat. Thank you, Racing Boy, for the $5 hauler that I see right here. I'm going to put it on screen so I don't forget. I'll handle that in 1 second. Jordyn Tyson is a receiver that you're getting in redraft. Now, Dynasty is tough because the Dynasty ADP is all over the map. There is no real Dynasty ADP because every format's different, every league's different. Every data source is different. It's not an easy thing to accumulate a good, solid, strong ADP, especially this early in the offseason. No matter who tells you they have it, no matter who posts that they have it, it's not a very accurate thing. A good depiction would be, hey, let's look at redraft and then let's try and account for what we guesstimate would be his rise and increase in value. Right now, he's going 62 overall. So you're talking about somebody that you're getting as a potential territory of BTJ. You're trying to get someone in the 6th, 7th round that fits the bill of being an elite wide receiver 3 that can climb into wide receiver 2 numbers. We saw BTJ as a rookie finishes the 4th wide receiver in fantasy football, period, as a rookie. So there is no limit to what a rookie like Carnell Tate or especially Jordyn Tyson can do in a rookie campaign. They could be a top 10 wide receiver. Anybody thinking Carnell Tate or Jordyn Tyson can't finish in the top 6 to 10, 6 to 12 wide receivers, not saying they do for sure, not saying it's guaranteed by any means, not saying you pay for that, but anybody that thinks that you can't get like a Jordyn Tyson to be a top 10, top 12 wide receiver, it can happen. It can happen at any moment. So, understand that. Jordyn Tyson, to me, is by far and away the best prospect at the wide receiver position in this draft class, has the most ability to get to that 5 to 10 territory. Love Tate, love his abilities. Might it be more of a flashes of what's to come in the future? Might it be a stint of playing at a top 12 level, top 15 level? But the idea that Tate can be better than Tyson, to me, I don't want to say it's laughable. I'm not trying to pull a Vrabel here. I just think that there is a big difference between getting the product that is Jordyn Tyson, the likelihood of him being an elite wide receiver, getting Tate to produce as consistently as Jordyn Tyson on a season, if both of them are healthy out there getting, these monster pulling in these monster plays. I think Tate could be very solid, very good rookie season. You expect wide receiver 3 numbers. You hope for more, but you expect that. Jordyn Tyson, you're also drafting at wide receiver 3 numbers because you can. He's going in the 60s to 70s, but you're actually saying, I'm going to be extremely disappointed if he doesn't have 1,050, so 1,050, and 7 to 10 touchdowns. 75 plus to 85 plus receptions, somewhere around that territory. That is what he's capable of doing as a rookie versus some rookies can have a 908, 907 situation. By the way, Carnell Tate just signed his rookie deal. We've been waiting on that. The 4th overall pick, Carnell Tate, signing a deal that is fully guaranteed, $51 million. It is a 4-year deal, $33 million signing bonus. That is congrats to the young man Carnell Tate just inking that deal. Jeremiah Love also inked his deal. A lot of money being spent today. A lot of checks being cashed. A lot of drip getting bought today at the store. Jordyn Tyson to the moon. Jordyn Tyson to the moon. Jordyn Tyson to the moon. Call me crazy, but I'm in Dynasty League, and I had the 1.1 and 1.5, and I traded the 1.4 and 1.6, so I drafted Tyson, Lemon, and Stowers. What are we doing here? Call me crazy, but I'm in a Dynasty League. I had the 1.1, 1.5, and 1. And I traded it for the 1.4 and 1.6. You traded what for the 1.4 and 1.6? The 1.1? You traded Jeremiah Love for the 1.4 and 1.6? Racing Boy, you know you're my boy. I don't think I've ever made Racing Boy take a lap. I love you, my boy. I love you. I'm always going to shoot you straight. I think that's why you come back. You know what I mean? Like if I was here, but it's okay, and slapped you on the rear end, sent you on your way, you wouldn't value my take and my advice. I'm gonna bring down the thunder when I need to bring down the thunder, but I don't know if that's what you're saying you did. Look, I love Jordyn Tyson. I'm talking him up right now, and I'm still going to give you an unbiased reaction of that. We're not living on cloud 9 here and trading on cloud 9. We gotta be realistic. We gotta understand that what time it is. Jeremiah Love is potentially a top 5 overall player, bro. If you're in a dynasty startup 1 year from today, Love's going in the top 5 overall. I think you might have turned on another channel for a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry, Caps. Racing Boy, I know you're loyal to this show, and by all means, I'm not saying you can't watch other channels. I'm not a jealous, talk show host here. But for your own good, I think you flipped on the wrong channel for about 10 to 15 minutes. Might have heard somebody say something along the lines of, I just don't like the Cardinals landing spot. It might not be real good this year. I mean, it could be. We're pretty expecting here. I have a feeling you probably did a little bit of browsing. And you got influenced by somebody else, bro. You strayed too far for too long. You held your breath for too long, and you lost your air. I don't know. Caps, you're my boy, and I appreciate you. I hope you're not taking offense to this, but that's just my take. I think the chat also was in agreement here. You can't do that, bro. If you would have got like the 2 and the 3, I would have probably still said no. Like I would. Jeremiah Love, I love Tyson, I love Tate, but you give me Jeremiah Love over the number 2 and number 3. You traded the 1 for the 4 and 5 or whatever it was. But go ahead and rebuttal or give me whatever other comment you want. The one thing I'll tell you is most people say this after a bad trade. The reason I did it, well, let me explain. I don't need any explanation, and there is no reason you did it. You either did the good trade or the bad trade, but you said call you crazy. I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to say, Caps, I totally Smitty disapproved that one.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
But I do Smitty approve Racing Boy. I love Racing Boy. Racing Boy's my dog. All right. Damn, I just wish you were on a leash. I could have pulled you back just a little bit, bro. I don't know what. Okay, Rashee Rice has a long way to go before the team will consider signing him to an extension. We talked about this yesterday, but I want to hit it again and just say that, again, because people have been asking me about it. Clearly not everybody's right now in full Smitty mode, watching potentially something else that's straying people away. There are people didn't hear me yesterday speak to this and say nothing has changed. He was not getting an extension before this during this offseason. He needs to ball out, play like a top 5 wide receiver, and his goal is to try and get paid like a JSN, JJ, and he certainly won't get JSN money, I don't think, given his checkered past, even if he has a top number 3 overall season. But he certainly could get $35 million per year, which is what JJ is getting paid right now, which is inside the top 5 right now. So if Rice does ball out, has a stellar season, keeps his head on straight, it's a good little boy, then he will probably get $35 million per year if he plays like a top 5 wide receiver in 2026. Racing Boy, appreciate you. I hope you know that. So this is not, some people are getting scared off by this. You know what's great is if this scares off people, we get Rice even a little bit cheaper. If this makes his ADP go from 21, 20 to 25, 24, 27, because people don't understand what's going on. They have no clue what time it is. They have no clue that this is exactly what we already knew. He was not getting any sort of contract extension this offseason. Zero chance. He was playing it out. They need to see him stay healthy, keep his head on straight, and then he'll get paid bank. Long way to go. We know that. We know that. This is scaring people. It's good. It's fantastic.
You've just been Smitty.
Tell everybody. DM everyone you can and say, oh my God, you hear that the Chiefs aren't close to signing him to an extension. like as if anything's changed. This is great. This is great news. I love this. Some of this stuff is hilarious to me. You know, the good thing the show's here to dissect this for you, because good Lord, if someone's kind of taking it easy right now, they got a pile of dishes and some chores to do in the off season. They're not here able to consume everything we're cooking out. Good thing you got this news show. First 10, 15, 20 minutes of this show is all you need. And you're good to go if you're trying to scrape by. I'm not saying don't consume the whole thing. I'm just saying if you need to catch up on news, or you're kind of taking it easier than you should be, which is an excuse, his poor excuse of treading water in the offseason. You need to be immersed in it. Be immersed in this thing if you're taking it seriously. You know, if you're trying to win Best Ball Mania, promo code Smitty, you can't be treading water in freaking May. You got to be full, underneath the water, not even knee deep, fully underneath with the snorkel and everything. Go watch this show. We did this on the Dynasty channel last night. It was Burden versus the field. You know, we kept going wide receiver, just throwing wide receivers up. It's a great show. Tonight, we're going to do somebody versus the field. A lot of Shuck questions. People want to know Tyler Shuck versus the field. So maybe we do that tonight. Jacoby Brissett. Well, actually, we're going to go to Breece Hall real quick. Breece Hall, who's 7 feet tall. Obviously, if you've been living under a rock, you don't know. 3-year deal, $45 million worth $15.25 million annually. So 15.25, pretty decent day at the office for him. I didn't expect the Jets to actually pay that, even though he should get more. We did talk about where we value Breece Hall and how he's going in this territory right around where Josh Allen. George Pickens goes a little higher. Just make sure you're not taking, You're not leaving A.J. Brown, ETN, or George Pickens on the board if you're going to take Breece Hall in round 3. Javante's arguable, probably safer than Breece, but arguable. Breece probably has more upside, just a little bit more risk given his offense is trash. And Javante lives in a glorious offense. So you want to take safety, you take Javante. And then you take Josh Allen. These are the guys that in the third round where Breece Hall's going are much more attractive pieces. I put Price and Igbuka here because I didn't want anybody to take either one here because they're like, well, I like Price. Smitty's talking Price. Price is going 5th round. Okay, so pump the brakes and enjoy the ADPs while they're there to help you. Don't start ruining your own situation by reaching and having a reach-a-thon. And by the end of your draft, it looks like you're missing a third rounder. Like someone came in and raptured your third round pick altogether, or your second round pick, even worse. And I look at your team, and I'm like, what did you do, bro? You're listening to the channel, but you're listening to it on 10 times speed, and you're missing all the details in between. Because I'm sitting here watching you draft Igbuka at the 2-3 turn. I'm watching you draft Jeremiah Price at the 3-4 turn when he's going in the 5th round, sometimes 6th round. Now he's climbing 5. 5's great. Buka in 4 is great. If you've got to take him at the 3-4 turn, that's okay too, because essentially the same player. But do not take Buka at 3.4. Do not take Buka anywhere higher than you have to. Don't take Price any higher than you have to. Breece Hall's territory lives with these gentlemen right here. And I believe all 5 of these guys, especially Josh Allen, deserve and have to go before Breece Hall. And if you want to argue about early quarterback being bad, my phone line's wide open if you want to get dunked on. Because you're not going to win that debate. Because you think you know the debate, but you don't know the debate. Breece Hall, 3rd round, gold mine, no. 3rd round steal, no. ADP's 32. You know, what does that mean? It means he's kind of valued right around where he probably scores. But there'll be some inconsistencies for Breece Hall. So I can't tell you that 32 is a steal because it's not. It's just not. 32 is not a great value. It's not a bad value. It's marked right around, being proper pricing. It's just good. Like, can he be a 2nd round overall, 2nd drafted player, 2nd round producing player in fantasy football 2026? I suppose so. I would never bank on it. I would never expect it. I'd never draft for it. I would never put myself or have you put yourself in a position to have to get 2nd round return to break even. You can't think like that. 3rd round is going to be a little bit of holding your breath, hoping that this offense is not so putrid they don't injure him, running him into the ground. 8-man fronts. There's no quarterback. You could draft all these offensive weapons all you want, Sadiq and Omar Cooper Jr., and you have Garrett Wilson, but you're essentially getting the best tires and rims and exhaust and turbo boost and aerodynamics and a spoiler and a hood scoop and just everything you can think of under the sun for a race car, but you haven't got an engine yet. So there's not much you can do with it. You can have all this awesome stuff, but it's surrounded by trash. Geno Smith's not a great quarterback or even a good quarterback. I will say I think Geno plays better this year than he did last year because the difference in the Las Vegas offensive line and the Jets offensive line is almost like Pop Warner versus, the worst team in college football. Like that's about the difference of it. I'm calling the Jets, in some trouble because the whole situation, not to mention the way the quarterback position is going to hamper the offensive line and make the offensive line play at a lesser level. There will be a lot of 8-man fronts facing Breece Hall. There are going to be a lot of trying times for Breece Hall, but there will be some big games because he's the kind of guy that is a top, 2 to 5 potential player when in an ideal situation. Ideal situations are unfortunately going to be few and far in between, but there will be some moments where he pops off. So my advice would be I would tend to lean more toward Breece Hall 3rd round drafting as soon as all of these guys are off the board, or maybe a couple others, but do not draft him ahead of any of these guys in best ball, non-best ball, in your grandma league, in a league full of people in comas at the nursing home. Doesn't matter where it is, what it is. These guys go first, okay? But I will say this. I will say that Breece Hall in best ball in the 3rd round after these guys is not bad because in best ball, optimal scoring allows for you to have guys like Jonah Coleman come in. When Jonah Coleman gets into the lineup and is the potential starter in Denver and he's dropping top 12 running back numbers, top 8 running back numbers, not saying I know when it happens or how long it happens or whatever the case may be, then you have him step in for Breece Hall. And then Breece Hall has his big spike games. You add Jonah Coleman or Monangai. Let's say Monangai all year long is getting about a pace of 1,000 to 1,100 yards and 10, 12 touchdowns. He'll be the guy that carries you. And the moment Breece Hall pops off those 2 or 3 games where he has 150 yards and 2 touchdowns or something, then that steps in, and then sum total, Monangai and Hall together as your rotational running back 2 ends up scoring you way more than the typical running back 2. So best ball is a little bit more protective to grab Breece Hall, but I don't know that I love Breece Hall in a non-best ball environment. I think you're going to it's going to be a painful, abusive relationship between you and Breece Hall as you watch him do bad, do bad, do bad, do good, do bad, do bad. And do you put him on your bench the week that he does good because you're just trying to wait through it all? I mean, it's hard to say. Racing Boy, appreciate you again. This one from Wentworth. Wentworth says, what do you think about Rico this year? We like Rico. Wentworth, we like Rico enough. I know you haven't been here fully to see this, but he's a midseason monster, my boy. Rico Dowdle is a potential threat to be a high-end running back 2-3. I say 2-3, not high-end 2, but high-end 2-3, and maybe Xavier later, but he's definitely guaranteed nothing. So your cost of entry has to be really, really, really good and cheap and affordable. But I do love him as a potential midseason monster, especially with Warren getting banged up. And Dowdle's a veteran, even though Aaron Rodgers is not used to him. He's a dog too, and I think Aaron Rodgers will take to him. I'll take my lap. I was expecting it. Still love the show, Smitty. I'm glad you do, Racing Boy, and I didn't question that you love the show or that you definitely appreciate my honesty, I think, because, without it, what good is my advice, right? Early elite dual threat QB who wins fantasy weeks and is getting more weapons, locking up most important position with the clear advantage, all in on that thinking, Smitty, with Josh Allen. Josh Allen is one of the best third-round picks in fantasy football. You can call in. I'm waiting for anybody that's like, but I heard on another channel. Damn it, these other channels are getting to me, Smitty. I shouldn't have listened. But they said going early cornerback is a disadvantage because quarterbacks, a lot of them, there's a handful that fall late. And don't worry about the other parts of this that I'm not explaining because you're not even talking apples to apples. BBQ, appreciate.
I smell meatloaf.
It's my boy, BBQ. Dropping it like it's hot. Thank you, BBQ. Appreciate your super chat per usual. Thank you, Hammer. Thank you, BBQ. Thank you, Racing Boy. Thank you, Wentworth. Thank you, Racing Boy. Again, you guys are absolutely amazing. Appreciate every single one of you. Even those of you just hitting that like button, sharing the show with your buddies. The bigger this show gets, the more you get. I promise you that. The production value, the amount of shows, the length of the shows, everything improves. So keeping it a secret, I get it. Maybe not sharing to your direct favorite league, but you're sitting there at the sub shop and a guy's got a Raider cap on backwards and you lean over and you go, Smitty loves your team, pal. Slap him on the rear end, send him on his merry way, tell him TheFantasyFootballShow.com. Or maybe it's a Jet fan. You go, have you heard what Smitty said about your Jets? TheFantasyFootballShow.com. Get him on his way. So that's what I'm talking about. There's so many other ways you could spread the word, help this channel. But the super chats are obviously probably, one of the coolest ways to help your boy Smitty out. So as we get closer and closer to kickoff of the season, we'll see those ramp up, and they're always appreciated, never expected. You guys make the show. It's about the people show. Appreciate you guys. I'm probably just in a padded room talking to nobody, but on the rare case, this isn't a simulation. I'm not walking around with connections to my head and getting zapped with neutrons and flux capacitor component megabolts. And this is actually real, and I'm speaking to real people. You guys make the show. Without you, this show's nothing. So I appreciate you. Hit that thumb up button. And let's get to the rest of this. Jacoby Brissett, Cardinals head coach Mike LaFleur, said that he's having a good ongoing dialogue with Jacoby Brissett. Now, a lot of people have said, oh, he's maybe getting an extension. That's not what this is saying. Cardinals head coach Mike LaFleur said he's having a good and ongoing dialogue with Jacoby Brissett. Now, maybe there's some contract extension talks in this, but probably not. I think the contract extension talks would happen maybe week 4, week 3, if this guy goes out there and starts going absolutely nuclear like we think he can, especially adding a healthy MHJ, which he didn't have last year. He took McBride to a place we've never seen a tight end go. No pun intended. That's real talk right there. We've never seen a better tight end than McBride. McBride exploded last year. He was the best tight end in fantasy football history. Michael Wilson, who's that? Oh, that's an amazing wide receiver we forgot about, or did we? Did we just need Brissett to show us that we were right when we did like him as a whole fantasy football populace back before MHJ landed on the Cardinals? Michael Wilson was a very high dynasty prospect, and people loved him, and he vanished because Kyler didn't know how to feed the football. Well, Kyler mixed with the Cardinals, didn't know how to feed him the football. Now you hand Brissett a healthy MHJ. You hand him maybe one of the best running backs ever to come out of college, and Jeremiah Love, a top 5 running back. Racing boy, put your earmuffs on this one. You're not going to want to hear this Jordan Love Cardinal talk because somebody fed you the wrong information and you think the Cardinals are a bad spot. So put the earmuffs on, Racing boy, as we finish this. I'll wave like this when we're ready. But Jeremiah Love, top 5 running back, top 1 to 5. He could be the running back 1 in Dynasty Fantasy Football. He could be I'm not saying Gibbs is my 1. I'm saying he could be. Gibbs is my 1. Bijan's my 2. Honestly, I could flip Bijan and Gibbs in Dynasty. In redraft, it's all Gibbs for me. 1.1. This is Marshall Faulk. This is LaDainian Tomlinson. This is you get the 1.1, and the rest of the league has got to figure out a way to trip you up or you're winning. You got to screw up your draft like the guy did the other night from the 1 spot where he took Monty as like his 3rd or 4th drafted player. You got to screw up royally, trip and fall, hit your head. Forget your drafting, auto draft with the kicker selection, auto selected, so you're only drafting kickers. This is the only way you can really screw up the 1.1 this year. That's how good Gibbs is, especially when you pair Gibbs with Josh Allen at the 3.1 if you want the craftiest way to draft in 2026. So like this is a way that I would say is one of my favorite ways to draft, is drafting Jahmyr Gibbs here, drafting Josh Allen at the 3.1, so taking Joshy boy right here. You take Love, but probably better to go wide receiver in this territory, whether it's George Pickens or whether it's Rashee Rice or whether it's Drake London. However you want to dress this up, it will look like a monster situation to be reckoned with. And if you put Price over on this 5th round territory, like this is the kind of team that wins leagues. But this trio here, or specifically this duo of Gibbs and Allen, puts you in such an advantageous position. You're going to blow everybody out of the water at QB and at running back. But what was I saying? Why was I talking about this? Jeremiah Love, Brissett, back on track. A lot of tangents for me. But Jacoby Brissett is going to ball. He balled last year with just Wilson and McBride. That's what I was trying to say. You hand him a healthy MHJ, what does he do? You hand him now Jeremiah Love. Do you think that Brissett's going to be lesser than he was last year? He's probably going to go out there and explode. And then you're going to have this team maybe giving him an extension. We got a $50 hauler from BBQ. We got a $20 hauler from Hammer. It's like they've coordinated. Let's hit Smitty with the double, one on one platform, one on the other, so he doesn't know what to do and he gets distracted again. But Smitty's trained for this. I'm capable of handling all of this at once. The phone lines are still even open right now. I understand the new regime wants to make their mark. It would be asinine to not play Brissett. It's not Brissett. It's the defense and offensive line. The weirdest thing, Hammer, and thank you for the $20 super chat. Let me hit the Hammer time real quickly.
It's Hammer time.
The weird thing about this situation is when people run their mouth about how it's Brissett's fault the Cardinals didn't win. Yeah, let's just play Brissett. When you say Brissett exploded last year, Brissett made Michael Wilson revitalize. Brissett turned McBride into the best fantasy football tight end in NFL history, in fantasy football history. And what does the uneducated non-ball knower say that watches the other channel? You Smitty, yeah, but then the Cardinals lost. Yeah, Brissett throws like 50 times, but You still lose. Right? Am I right? There's no one behind me. Am I right? Like Brissett. So Brissett goes out and throws 50 times and they lose and you blame him. Brissett scores as many points as he can. And the defense gives it up. The coaching staff surrenders the game. And it's Brissett's fault that he only scored 47 points or 33 points or 35 points. It's Brissett's fault. Brissett's playing defense now. Like, it's just stupidity when people say things that's the part that probably irks me the most. They don't have a quarterback because he can't really win. Like, hey, Brissett, go throw 55 times and make McBride score 2 or 3 touchdowns. Just turn Michael Wilson into a wide receiver 2, and then we'll blame it on you because our defense craps the bed. Like, I don't even know what to say to people anymore, to be honest. And then BBQ dropping a wad on screen, $50 holler.
Give me $50 holler. Get by the brother Smitty. Give me $50. Oh, yeah.
Hammer says, like, Burrow needs to put up 40 points to be competitive. That's the same thing. Like, does anybody crapping on Burrow? Oh, Burrow doesn't know how to win. I've never heard that once. Have you ever heard Joe Burrow doesn't know how to win? No, it's Joe Burrow has no help. But instead Brissett, for some reason, it's like, Arizona doesn't have a quarterback. I don't know ball. Brissett, he can't win a game. He didn't score 67 points like he needed to win that game. What kind of quarterback is this? Let's get a rookie in there in the 3rd round. Let's get Beck in there. Beck can do it. Hey, Beck, get on over here. Just ridiculous thinking, bro. Just absolutely ridiculous. Thank you, boys, for dropping the super chats. You straight up savages, you monsters, you BBQ to the moon, Hammer to the moon. Let me put these bad boys over here. We still got a little bit of news to go over, and I think I got all the super chats handled over on both sides of the fence. I'm keeping caught up pretty well as we juggle everything and all things on this channel. Xavier Worthy, according to Andy Reid, he was afraid we did this report yesterday too, but he was afraid to use Xavier Worthy in a lot of ways last year after a shoulder injury, and he's expected to be fully healthy. This is like an underrated wide receiver 3-4. Really 4-5, you know. I think you could get Casey, Concepcion, and Worthy as your wide receiver 4 rotation, and that's fantastic for 2026 redraft. I love both of them. They're really good. Or you could get your 4-5. So it'd be Concepcion's your 4, secret weapon, league-winning wide receiver 4, because he's really going to take your wide receiver 3 out and just take over. But Casey Concepcion is your wide receiver 4. Worthy is your wide receiver 5 or 6. Like, Worthy could have 3 or 4 rushing touchdowns, 200 rushing yards, 150 to 200. And then if he gets you 700 or 800 receiving, I mean, he could get 900 or 1,000. Like, even if we just say, let's just say he gets you 700 receiving and 5 touchdowns, maybe 6, but like 5 touchdowns. He runs for 2 or 3. Let's say he gets you 8 total scores and about 900 yards. And yeah, he might only have 50, 60, like who knows what his receptions look like, but you add the rushing production in, which is they were afraid to use him. That's what that statement says. That's what this is trying to tell you. It's not trying to tell you, oh, we didn't want to throw the ball to him. It's they didn't want to run him. They didn't want to use him on jet sweeps as much as they could. This is a Deebo Samuel-esque player. You could say he's too small, but that's not the way that the wide back position works. Everybody thinks when you say wide back, it means you're a running back. It's not. It's that you're playing running back out wide. It's that you're getting the ball at and around the line of scrimmage on end arounds or jet sweeps, or just throwing the football to you at or behind the line of scrimmage. And wide back means that you're wide. That's why the word wide's in there. You're wide running back. Here's the ball. Boom. Turn into a running back from the line of scrimmage out wide. So you're not getting tackled by linebackers and offensive linemen. But because Deebo played wide back and then turned into a running back, the starting running back for the San Francisco 49ers during that 2021 season, was it? Because all the running backs were injured, everybody that didn't know ball started tying that he was a running back and he's behind the line of scrimmage, taking handoffs up the gut, running up the A gap, the B gap. That must be wide back. That's not it. Worthy can stay healthy as a wide back because he's not a running back. So I don't know what the hell people talking about. Kyler Murray monster in the making or bust? You'd be the judge. I don't think anybody really knows how this is going to work, but I'll tell you, I'm excited because I feel like he's got the right coach and system. Arizona did not. First of all, Gannon was trash. I said that from the jump. Gannon was trash. And Kyler had no shot. Maybe Kyler had a better shot staying in this system with LaFleur. Maybe not. We don't know what LaFleur is going to do. So I kind of am glad Kyler's out because Kyler still has the potential. Oh, I'm sorry. Simi, take your earmuffs off. I'm sorry. We stopped talking about love a while ago. Kyler Murray reminded me because former Arizona Cardinal, and I thought, not Simi, not Simi, I'm sorry. Racing boy, take off your earmuffs. Kyler Murray is in a system that's going to, the same system, the same coaching staff that was able to corral Darnold, simplify things, Cousins, McCarthy, not so much, but McCarthy was never, in my opinion, sorry, Sick Nasty, capable of doing it anyway. And there's a report here in a second I'll get to that's kind of it's the same report here, that Kyler Murray is competing with J.J. McCarthy for the Vikings starting quarterback job. That's just a cute way of saying, hey, buddy, we still love you, McCarthy. Don't give up. You still got this. There's no competition here. Kyler Murray's the starter. Kyler Murray's going to play. Justin Jefferson has already said when Kyler was brought on a roster how excited he was to have somebody that could actually throw the football and get him the ball. Like the things that JJ said in the past that were supportive went out the window, and then he said some things that were not so supportive once Kyler was there. Everybody knows, including JJ. I think JJ would quit. I think he'd get up and walk out if they said, we'll start McCarthy over Murray. Murray's starting. He's starting. This is a cute nonsense report. And Kyler Murray is going to probably have a potential, not a guarantee, not a lock, but a potential to be a bounce back player. Maybe he even is a revenge tour player for us because he runs. He's in a great system, and the system's going to support what he does and doesn't do well. It'll figure out ways to fill in the gaps. It'll figure out ways to put him in the most optimal opportunities. And it is very aggressively conducive to getting the ball downfield. Don't think last year. Last year wasn't it. So I think Kyler could have a top 6 to 10 quarterback season and rebound. And he's a very, very underappreciated Dynasty Superflex and redraft Superflex asset because he might be a gem of a QB2 and Superflex. A gem. And in situations where you get the early picks, or you get the late first round pick and the early second round pick, and you're like, damn it, I don't want to take a quarterback here because they're all off the board that I love. I'm gonna go freaking JJ and Chase or something at the end of round 1, or I'm gonna go Genty and JSN at the end of round 1, top of round 2 in a super flex where quarterbacks are loading up the first 8 or 9 selections. And you're like, I don't want to go QB here. I'm going to take the top dogs. And then you get Kyler and a Brissett or Kyler and an Aaron Rodgers. Kyler, it's an attractive play if it works out well. So Kyler, very, very good super flex. As a few other quarterbacks are Brissett's a very good super flex QB. Aaron Rodgers is pretty good. Kyler's really, really good, risky, but really good. Like Aaron Rodgers might be safer than Kyler. Brissett might not be as safe as Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers might be safer than both of them. Kyler and Brissett have more upside. And so Superflex is a tough thing to tackle at that QB2 position. Hammer, thank you very much. Appreciate you dropping the super chat here. What did it say? Understand the regime. Oh yeah, I read it. The defense, offensive line. Okay, I think we're caught up there. We've got just a few more pieces of news here. We did the Breece Hall deal. It's already been talked about. Let me get rid of that graphic here. And then we've got this J.J. McCarthy, which is just a similar thing to the Kyler one. J.J. McCarthy, the Vikings will allow him to compete. Sure they will. Sure they will. Cute story. Very cute story. Kalen Black signs his 4-year contract, 3rd-round pick for the San Francisco 49ers. I can't believe he's a 3rd-round pick. I think it's crazy. I like Kalen Black, though. I do like him. He's not super fast, but in this system, he'll be fine. He's quick enough. And I will tell you this. We keep talking about the cuff board and some midseason monsters. I don't know that we have this officially on the midseason monster board or not, so let me go ahead and grab Jordan James and Kalen Black and take it to the midseason monster board, because they will be. I might have it on here already. Maybe I'm misremembering, but the midseason monster board is right here, and I do. Okay, I already have it there. I knew I was on top of it. James and Kalen Black, midseason monster. Monungai, he's not even a midseason monster as much as he is just a moon man extraordinaire. Stowers could take some time. KC Concepcion could take a little time. I don't think he will take much time at all. Claiborne, love him in Minnesota, the rookie running back. Dowdle, Coleman in Denver is going to explode at some point. This feels like just gold right here. Singleton, there's a lot more risk there, but there's some intrigue for Singleton in Tennessee to eventually take over. But James and Kalen Black together, Monungai, Coleman, Concepcion, these are the big dogs on this board. Midseason monster board to the freaking moon. Love that board. That board looks fantastic. But Kalen Black, cuff him to Jordan James, and you have this year's version of the Grendo and Jordan Mason, which I'm going to redo that video with Jordan Mason and Kalen Black's faces and everything, and we'll redo that video. That video needs to return. If anybody doesn't know what video I'm talking about, let me see if I can find it. This would be it right here. Play! Jeez, man. Let me see. It should play in a second. There's a little bit of a delay. Come on! Maybe it won't play. Unbelievable, man. Let's see if I can find it. I think it's right here. It's not playing, though. It might play any second. Let me see if I can hand pick this video out. But definitely Mason Grendo. That was such a fun time. We really crushed that. We really crushed that one. That was such a good call. This channel, people were making fun of that thing. You know, oh my God, you know, Smitty, I can't believe you're advising people what bad advice to take Mason and Grendo. They're two backups. You don't even have the starter. What are you wasting your time? You're just ruining people's seasons. Mason and Grendo carried us that year. Anybody that had that combination, it died a little too quickly, and that was disappointing, but it is what it is. It was fantastic while the ride lasted, and it certainly helped a lot of people gain ground that had injuries or make the playoffs. And while it wasn't completely amazing during the playoffs, it was fantastic while it lasted. And I wish I could find, let me see if I can get this this video to play. It's not playing right now, but it might now. I guess not. It's not going to play. Let me see if I can find it somewhere. I'm looking through all my old videos. Phone lines are open while we're waiting for me to find this damn video.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on here. Maybe the video is missing. I haven't played it in so long, I probably just like saved to the cloud. This is probably why I can't load it, because it's been archived, and the scene is trying to pull it. It's like, bro, this video hasn't been played in 2 years. We don't know where it is. Here's Chiefs season. Remember this?
It's Chiefs season. Mahomes is scoring 45 plus touchdowns. Let them cook.
Through sheer science and intense aerodynamic study, the mullet of Puka Nacua has been reconstructed inside the Fantasy Football Show studios. This systematic balance of hair volume, mixed with both Quantum Atom fiber technology and L'Oreal shampoo and conditioner, creates a floating mechanism to which the world has never seen. Patent pending. To see this prototype in action, see Puka on Sundays as he floats around the field. We interrupt this program to bring you a special message from the Bruce's mother.
Get Bijan.
We ended up throwing this out last time we lost Big Profit. Big Profit he's come around though. He ended up coming back. Remember that, Big Profit? All right, let's see what else we got. Phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I don't know where my damn video is for. I could probably find it this way. I'm trying to find the Mason Grendo video. Oh well, it doesn't even matter. I'll cook it up and we'll play it for the first time once we get it all fixed up and doctored up. All right. Stowers is good. Love Stowers, bro. Stowers is fantastic. Stowers is better than Lemon. Lemon owners hate when I talk about that. They hate it. What are you talking about? What do you mean? What do you mean? First it was Deontay Johnson. Then it was Michael Pittman Jr. Remember Michael Pittman Jr. was going in the second round. Michael Pittman, listen to what I'm saying. Deontay Johnson and Michael Pittman both had a stint where they went in the second round. And I went ballistic. These guys are busts, bro. They're not good at all. They're not going to be good at all. Michael Pittman and Deontay were second round picks. They climbed into the 2-3 turn, and they were just this. It feels everybody that loved those guys, and they're the same people that loved Caleb Johnson, the rookie running back in Pittsburgh. They're the same people that like Jonathan Brooks. They're the same people that like Makai Lemon. If you're sitting here listening to me, you're like, damn it, I like all those guys. If you're a Makai Lemon supporter. you're sitting there going, geez, that's like this guy's psychoanalyzing me right now. You hated Achan? Oh my God, how's this guy reading through my soul? You're live. Who am I talking to? Where are you calling from?
This is Greg from Indiana. How you doing?
What's up, Greg?
What's up? I was going to talk about Breece. If you had Breece in Dynasty, would you be looking to sell the news? Try
100%.
And for what?
That's a good call. Good question. I think that the first thing that comes to my mind is what doubted players can you try and trade for right now? Doubted players to me, Hendy, and can you get more with that? Hard to say. It doesn't feel like people want to buy into Rashee Rice long term, but they like him in 2026. So that is a player that has a discrepancy between redraft and dynasty that doesn't compute because people are worried about the long term. I think you could maybe trade Breece Hall for Jordyn Tyson and maybe even get more, maybe not. It depends. I think Bucky Irving is a better gamble than Breece Hall. Now, the tide can change, next year if they bring in Sellers or they bring in, Arch or something like that. It definitely could change, but those are targets for me. Jadarian Price plus something. Those are creative ways to buy low and get something or go after a doubted player. CeeDee Lamb's doubted right now. You could probably add a little bit. You can upgrade Breece Hall into CeeDee Lamb. You could upgrade Breece Hall into a doubted Drake London. People are doubting these guys. How much? Hard to say. In Dynasty, they doubt him less, but Lamb, with Pickens there and with his bad year last year, he's very underrated. Another running back that comes to mind, I suppose, if you're trying to just, do some sort of creative move would be trying to get, let's say, if you're not trying to go crazy high like Jeremiah Love in some monster multiple first round deal, where you give multiple first and Breece for, Jeremiah Love or Genty or something like that, or, Achan, you could go after Walker, who people feel is like somehow older than he is. And you might not have to give up as much as you would think in a dynasty sense. In a redraft, Walker goes in round 2. Breece Hall goes in round 3. In dynasty, Walker falls a little bit. Breece Hall also may or may not fall, but not a ton. Maybe 4th round, Walker falls to maybe 3rd. And the discrepancy is not that crazy. That a first rounder could maybe be used there. Try and give up a 2029 or 2028, something like that.
All right. As far as like Tyson or Love, I got the 1, 2, and 3 for this year, but it's a contract league, and like for this year, Breece's contract is by far like the worst on my team. Actually, I traded Bucky for Breece back at the end of last season. Because I don't know, I just didn't like the outlook of Bucky yet, but I mean, it was kind of a wash either way in my eyes. But like to move him, he's such a large contract. I gotta kind of try to find someone who also has a comparable contract. I want to try and get a little bit more cap space, but I was thinking like maybe if I could find a way to get Rice and maybe. Do you think Rice for like straight up?
Yeah, you're gonna have to give up maybe a little more to get Rice, but even if you could do it straight up, smash it. Hell yeah, because bro, right in redraft, Rice says he's doubted more in Dynasty because of the how long can this guy keep his head on straight or stay healthy, but Hall is gonna fall in relative value as well. So if Rice is going bottom of 2 and Hall is going mid 3rd in Dynasty, they're both gonna kind of in general fall about the same amount. So you're still a big gap. Like you can't just trade. No one's going to give you Rice for Hall, but you give up more, you give up a lot more. It's going to require like a 29 first rounder.
Yeah. We don't go that far
28.
out. Like the 6, like I got 28 first rounder.
If your team's good, I'd do it for Rice, bro. Hall for Rice. Hall's a running back, man. His shelf life is no matter what, like 2 more years before you start panicking and get 0 from him in return. I mean, you're talking about Derrick Henry's still trucking, and I haven't been able to get rid of Derrick Henry for 3 or 4 years. So imagine 1 more year on the books, when a bad year at that, maybe, let's say, how are you going to get rid of Hall? You could go with London. London's a lot younger. I think London's like, God, I think he's like 24.
Yeah, it's tough to get receivers off these people. It's a 16-man league. And
doubted guys.
People are just holding on to receivers for the dear life.
Yeah, go get doubted guys. If you can win a bunch of cash money, you could try and get creative and get like a Price and Evans for Hall and something. Like you can get the wide receiver that now value in Evans, who might have 2 years. He might have 2 years, might have a year and a half. And then Price is valued under Hall. Maybe Price is more valuable than Hall in Dynasty, though. It's hard to say. Price is still kind of getting his feet, settled in a Dynasty way. So I could see somebody saying, hell no, I'd rather have Price. And I agree. I would trade Hall for Price straight up if I needed to in Dynasty, absolutely. And if you had to give up more to get Price for Hall, I would do that too. If I had to give up more, I'd go get Price in Dynasty.
All right. I appreciate it, man.
Bro.
Yeah, take it easy.
I feel like last time we hung up on him. What did he say last time? It was something from Indiana. We're like, oh, what are they doing over there in Indiana? I forget why we hung up on him. I always let it go. Like I don't carry it over, but I forget what it was. I'm just curious if anybody remembers. we definitely deuced out on him for something last time he called. Appreciate all my super chatters. Hammer, thanks again, pal. Hammer with the Dublaze tonight. Simi Valley with the $2. BBQ with the 50 and also the 20 BBQ. You're a monster. I can't wait to hang out with a bunch of you guys too on July 14. But maybe the day before, we all go grab a bite, figure out a time. We'll schedule it. I'll create like an Instagram group chat or something where we can all congregate there during the weekend as well. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Hammer, Luis, Aldi, Simi. Who else is in the chat over on the Rumble? Landman, Luis, I think I said already. Appreciate all of you. Rumble's growing like a bad weed, in the backyard. It just keeps going and going and going. There's no stopping it. Rumble's crushing it. Phone lines are open. A couple more calls.
Call into the show. Call into the
and then
show.
we'll be back at midnight. We'll be back at midnight after we take a few more calls, but lots to go over today, Breece Hall's ADP 32. What do you think? Who hates it? Who likes it? Who actually likes his ADP? Drop a comment in the chat. Who thinks 32 is great? I just think it's fitting. I like it in best ball. I don't love it. I like it, I guess. I mean, it's okay. I'm indifferent. I love Josh Allen over Hall all day. But I don't like it in redraft. I like it in best ball only. And it's just a mediocre like. Breece has been 3 times. Hammer, you're live.
Hey, what's going
What's
on,
up,
man? Do you think like this could be the same path potentially for like Garrett Wilson and kind of just like putting him in with Breece? I don't know why, just like very talented. Again, Breece put himself in the situation. It's unfortunate. It's kind of what happened, but like kind of do the same exact thing because every year it's like, yeah, Garrett Wilson's an insane talent, but I just don't want anything to do with the Jets.
Yeah.
But like, when is he or will he leave?
Yeah, I mean, you don't hear me put Garrett Wilson on any Moonman list. We love Garrett Wilson. But what I've talked about pretty much consistently all offseason is that if Garrett Wilson got traded to New England, let's say, which isn't likely to happen by any means at all. But if it did happen, Garrett Wilson would be a top 5 to 10 wide receiver in my mind. He's so amazing. He's so talented. But yeah, he's in a pretty bad spot. The only thing that gives me a little hope though is that, and I hope it's like you said, same spot where I'm indifferent to the ADP. I'm not like avoiding him or putting him on the Planet Uranus list or anything like that, because that's our bust board where we predict the player to bust. He's not a bust, but I have indifference to his ADP, which is 38 overall. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just how much do I want to draft this? Not a ton. So 40, what did I say? 40 what? 40, 38. 38? So 38 overall. You're talking about the very, very, very top of round 4. And the only thing that really stands out to me are when you've got guys like Buka that you're just like, I want Buka over. So how do we ever draft Wilson at 4.2, 4.1, 4.3, 4.4 when we consistently see Buka sitting there? We consistently see a player like Bucky. Bucky's constantly there above Wilson. So what ends up happening is it's not that I hate Wilson. It's not that I think he's going to bust, but these guys are always sitting there above, and I'm always taking them ahead because there's too much risk. So that's really what it comes down to. If Wilson if he fell in ADP to like 4.10, 4.12, 5.1, I think I'd be back in. And I'm not out now, but there's just no feasible way to draft him when you consistently see better players always there for the taking. That's my take on Wilson. I love him, but it's, the solace.
Yeah, I meant more kind of like how, we were always like talking about like more like from a personality. Like Breece just kind of seems like he's just going with it. Like, I'll just go with what the Jets, I don't know what Garrett will. That was like, is he just going to be okay with it and be like, I'm just going to obviously get my contract and stay with the Jets? Or is he like, I want
Breece doesn't seem like he has a lot of dog in him off the field if we're going to go back to the dog mentality. Like he's the kind of guy, like he's playing video games and you walk into, the house and you're like, hey, Breece, they're towing your car. And he's like, oh.
I'll get it later.
Okay. I'll get on the phone and take care of that. Like he just doesn't have any like rush of urgency to the situation. Like he didn't want out. I think Garrett Wilson's a little more vocal. I just don't know why we haven't heard him gripe and complain much yet. But he does seem like he's a little bit less, vocal than we would want. If it was me, I'd have my agent and myself cooking up everything I can under the sun to try and get out. Like, hey, I don't want to be here. I don't want to play for you. Like, trade me. And the fact that he's been given crappy quarterback after crappy quarterback, and he's not freaking out about Geno Smith and making a noise, it makes me think more he doesn't understand. It's not that I think he doesn't have as much. He has a little more dog in him and fight, but I don't think he realizes what a good quarterback looks like. I think he's never seen it. So I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is I hope that they get an elite quarterback there next year. He's still young enough that if, let's say, Arch or we keep using Sellers or whoever ends up going to this this team and becomes their future quarterback and they're a legit quarterback, a legit top, potential 10 quarterback, then all of this worry gets wiped away, and then we're like, okay, good. Glad I kept with them in Dynasty. But in redraft, that quarterback's not coming. So you're probably getting a watered down version of what I would say is, the Garrett Wilson that he could be, and he'll show signs of it just like Breece. It's very, very similar production. Like it's going to be like hit and miss, non-best ball. It's going to drive you nuts because you're going to have to make that decision every week and you're going to get it wrong. In best ball, maybe you're drafting Michael Wilson in like 7 or 8 and Michael Wilson takes his spot and you're like, doesn't matter. Like Michael Wilson and Garrett Wilson together are doing well. It's, they're stepping up together to be that wide receiver, 2 or whatever for me. But in non-best ball, you're putting him in your lineup, you're getting hit. You're putting him in your lineup, you're getting hit. You take him out of your lineup, he has 110 yards and a touchdown. You're like, son of a B, man. So, yeah, it sucks. I'm not avoiding him, though. He's not a bust. It's just these guys stand out like crazy over him every time. That's just the problem. But
I think it's every year. It's just I feel like you just continue just to hope, and it's just you kind of get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah,
honestly,
the Jets are bad.
It's kind of why I just really just don't touch.
They're cursed, man. I mean, it's been awful. And I think the reason they kept their head coach is because they're going to scapegoat him. They're like, let's not put someone in we love and have them fail. Let's just wait. Maybe Mike McDaniel's free to be the head coach. And, it's an attractive play. They did a good job preparing for next year. Like everyone keeps saying the Jets had a great draft. They did, but it is all preparation. It's like buying, the wedding dress and the cake and everything. You don't have a groom yet. Like, so they're prepared. It's going to be the best bash of all time. That's what they're trying to do. It's not really going to be, but they did a really good job setting up whatever quarterback comes in next year. Now, I think that's probably what they're doing. Like, we're going to fire our coach. We're going to fire our offensive coordinator. We're going to fire everybody, and we're going to have everybody in place waiting for this quarterback to walk in red carpet style and to start dishing the ball out. And it may work. It may not. The Jets are capable of drafting the wrong quarterback. So we're not like saved next year no matter what, but the odds are pretty good with the quarterback class that's coming out. The Jets have to really screw this up, and Geno's got to win games to really muck it up. But if anybody can screw it up, it's the Jets, They'll win one too many games. They won't get the quarterback they need.
Just one.
It'll be like week 17. They win the game, and they go down to the 7 pick, and they miss out on the top quarterback or 3 or whatever. But there could be like a really bad 4th or whatever, a 3rd that we don't believe in, and the Jets take them. I don't know, man. They could always trade for a quarterback, or maybe something happens. I don't know. But Jets are not a team I want a lot of shares of players this year. I just don't. I love Sadiq, but it's hard for him to produce in this situation the way that we know he can. And Omar Cooper Jr., he's playing second fiddle to Garrett Wilson when there's no eating going on at all. So how is he going to get a full meal? It's just this is a disaster of overcrowded room with no facilitator at all. It's like the lunch lady got sick and the janitors they're trying to feed the whole cafeteria. Like it's just not going to happen. But real quick,
and just because like you were talking about Brissett earlier, have like the Cardinals made any moves this offseason? Like any I don't really keep up with them. Like, have they made any like moves on the defensive side of the ball, like to improve, or have they stayed relatively?
Yeah,
quiet?
I mean they got Isaac Sumalo, however you say his name. They've got they added a tackle. I think they might have added 2 tackles. There were some moves they made. The draft was not horrible.
Okay.
Drafting Carson Beck was intriguing, you could say. I think they re-signed a lineman as well, but I don't know. The Cardinals are a tough team to gauge, to be honest. I mean, everyone's crapping on them left and right. The team's so loaded with talent. Like it's crazy to me that no one gives them even a chance to not worry about wins and losses or from a fantasy perspective, or making a Super Bowl anytime in the next 1 or 2 years. But this is a team that has so much weaponry and a facilitator that is proven. So it is what it is.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, hang tight, Hammer. Just sit right there. Travis, you're live.
Yeah. So in terms of ADP and redraft, I'm with you on Hall. I'm kind of indifferent. I think it's appropriate. In terms of going forward in Dynasty, I'm pretty high on Hall. I'm actually getting higher on him the more I think about it, because one, I think, the line isn't terrible. We know that. Two, there's enough pass catchers around him that it's going to be hard to just continually stack boxes on him. Like I said, this year is a little more questionable. I think he's still a high-end RB2. He's never finished worse than last year. I think he might have been 19, which is still, a mid RB2. But the two things, I think, one, I think there's a pretty good chance they get a solid quarterback. And two, I wouldn't, and of course this is like a 10% type thing, but I wouldn't rule out, if things go bad, them being the ones to trade for Joe Burrow. They have 3 first-rounders next year. And you stick Joe Burrow in New York, that would be a place he'd be willing to go. Everyone talks about LA, but
yeah,
so I think they have a couple different routes to a good quarterback. And even with, and I'm talking more of like trading for him in Dynasty and having him as an RB2, not my RB1. I think he's one of the safer RB2s you can get.
Yeah, maybe in Dynasty it's a different monster. It's a totally different conversation. Redraft, there's little interest for me other than I'm indifferent at his ADP. If I stumble upon it, I'll take it in very small increments, not a lot of shares. Dynasty, it's understandable to like his situation a lot better, but there's still a lot of what ifs and things that need to play out for me to get behind it. Aside, like I'd rather have Price, I'd rather have Bucky, so there's still a lot of different players I'd rather have. But there is a
Bucky's not as risky as Hall. I guess it
offense.
depends on what
It's
you're looking
offense
for.
to me.
I'm looking at him like an RB2.
Yeah, it's offense to me, and I think Bucky can be a running back 1. So I'd take the gamble, especially if I can cuff it. But I just want all those players more. But I don't mind him right after that, especially if we are assuming things do get better. But there's a lot of assumptions being made. Like Joe Burrow could. I think a lot of people's initial reaction would be like, he's not going to New York. New York sucks. But New York, like a lot of people want to change a place too, like change the narrative. And New York it's a big market. It's also, they've drafted very well and they're set up for the next year. If the right QB came in, the right staff came in, you would 100% flip the script on this. Like the New York, if they had a Burrow, would be it would be a whole different thing, and the curse would be gone. They'd flip it. They definitely flip things around. But that's a total what if scenario that could happen, I suppose. But I just think that if you're talking Dynasty and you're attaching yourself to the Jets, historically they have failed, and could they fail again to get the right quarterback in there? Because there's going to be a right one and a wrong one. Like there aren't just like 3-4 for sure amazing guys that will be top 10. There's not room for that. But they'd have to land it. They'd have to really, really crush it. And my faith in the Jets drafting is getting better because they drafted really well. But I don't know. I still think that there's handfuls of players I'd rather have. But you're not wrong in saying he's a safe-ish, like low-end running back too. But I would not say the safest, in my opinion. I would say far from it. But I do.
Well, I said one of the safest. RB2s. I mean, when you're actually talking RB2s, who are we talking? Like,
well,
outside of the top 12.
I mean, I think.
I could definitely come up with some, but I could come up with 3 or 4 or 5. Maybe.
I mean, they're all going to have risk in that territory. So whether we say Bucky's risky or not, I think that, you know, if you're going to say, well, Price might not land, I mean, they're all going to have risk, but do I think he's one of the safest?
Well, that's just my point. You know?
I just don't think he's one of the safest, but I think he's got a lot of upside if things fall right for him. I think he becomes one of the safest maybe if everything goes right, but there's so many steps in between. It's hard for me to buy into it, but I like him a lot more in Dynasty than I do redraft, though. That's for sure, because there's.
That's my bigger point. Is I'm just talking redraft. I'm with you, but I think people write him off a lot in Dynasty, and I think he's actually easier to acquire in Dynasty. Just plug in your lineup as an RB2 fairly easily.
I can't argue against that. I guess it just depends on the case-by-case example that we're talking about. You know, whether it's Hendy, give me Hendy. I know Hendy's got risk, but they all have risk at this point, right? Price has risk. Tootin's got risk. Scadaboo's got risk. What other running backs are in this region? ETN, Bucky, but that's where he lives. There's a lot of options there that are they're all similar. They're all kind of, you know, you wonder what values.
Yeah, he's in that group for me. And I guess I would just like, to me, I wouldn't say I'd take him over every one of them all the time, but if you have 5 teams, I'm taking one of each of those.
The other thing to consider too is when we're talking about that value, again, it comes back to cross position for me, to where I'm like sitting here going, I get it, but if in a Dynasty startup where everyone's going, he's a pretty safe running back too here, I guess, I think I'm going to find a safer wide receiver, or whether it be quarterback, and that just kind of comes down to
That's why I said. Is more of my thing. Like he's a guy I might look to acquire in the Dynasty League. I don't know that I'm drafting him in a
it's a good point, because everyone's going to be scared of him, so there's probably it's probably a buyer's market for Breece Hall for sure. Not that it doesn't come with a bunch of risk, but it's a buyer's market. You can definitely get them at a nice discount that if things go well, you're going to be handsomely rewarded. But if they don't go well, you're probably still relatively protected. So that's why he's kind of just for me, I'm indifferent on his value right now. I'm just indifferent. I'd rather have other pieces that feel way, way, way more lucrative or secure, or that don't rely upon the New York Jets to go through all these hoops to get him where he needs to be. But he's relatively decent value, I think, in Dynasty, I would say. But we'll see. Maybe this contract changes that. You know, maybe this contract moves his ADP tonight. You know, it's hard to say. Sometimes people just, people that are fickle and just reading news, they're like, oh, he got paid, he must be good. Like, that's the way people are. So hard to know. You know, I bet you he's more expensive today than he was yesterday in any context. So how much? I don't know.
Well, I love Wilson. I think I'd feel safer with Hall on my team than Garrett Wilson, just because I think with, again, even if it's a average quarterback that they have, there's enough talented pass catchers that I think it's going to be hard for them to just focus on Hall.
My thinking is if they get the right quarterback in there, they both go to the moon. They both could go to the moon, and so I kind of view them pretty similar, but they both require a new quarterback to get unlocked again, to get to play anywhere near the level we know they're capable of. They both equally need that QB. London for Junior says London for the 1.3. I have the 1.2 as well. London, no way, bro. London over the 1.3. I don't know why.
Because you already have the 1.2, so you can take Tyson.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess
I don't know why. I don't know why you want London or want Tate over London. I love Tate, but London's young, still rising star receiver. So that's not a good trade, bro. Thank you for the super chat, though.
One other thing I was just going to say on Breece Hall is, like, I know people say he has a lot of mileage, but I don't think his workload's that bad. I think he's been beat up on bad teams, which sucks. But he's never had 250 carries in a season. So I think there's a little more mileage than some people think left on his tires too. Because he's young, the age isn't an issue. But I think, and to me, it's more like I said, not from a draft standpoint. It's from like an acquiring, trading standpoint. Like to me, when I'm looking at Dynasty, now is the time I want. If I'm going to, now's the time to go and get a Breece Hall or Garrett Wilson if you believe things are going to get better there.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because if
the
they
price
draft,
is right.
even before he's good, if they draft a Sellers or a Manning, now you're not.
If the price is right,
for the right
I could get behind that.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Hall for the 1.2. Right. I'd probably take the 1.2 over Hall over Gum. I definitely. I'd rather Tyson all day long. This is his workload. 223 carries, 209 carries, 243 carries. A lot of receiving usage, but yeah, I mean, he's still got some time. The one thing I would say though, from a dynasty perspective, that this is a throwaway year. That's 5 years down or I don't want to say down the drain. 5 years in the books, and it's like he might have 2 more years in my mind, but 2 years is a long time. I'm not saying he couldn't play a third or
running back,
but it's just like to me, it will be 6 years is the max I'm expecting out of a Breece Hall. So it will be 3 years, including this year. But again, so many leagues crumble after 2 and 3 years. You can't, For me, I'd rather have receivers. I think if I'm building a dynasty versus trading for Breece Hall, I think I'd rather try and go buy Egbuka right now. I'd rather try and, even if I had to overpay a little bit, I'd rather try and go get a Jordyn Tyson and go that route. But I do agree. If you need a running back, this is probably, even a redraft, this is probably one of the more affordable players that has upside to be a lot better than his ADP, but it's definitely there's just definitely a lot of risk as well in redraft. Hammer, what else you got? And then I'll circle back over to Travis. Got a couple of super chats here. I'll answer.
No, that was pretty much it. I appreciate it.
We'll be back at midnight. Hammer, and any dynasty topics in advance you guys got, either Travis or Hammer? Maybe a face-off scenario versus the field. We had a couple of Tyler Shucks, but is that a player we want to run out and do a whole show on, or can we do a player that Shuck would be involved in, another player? I'm trying to think.
I mean,
what about
Shuck's good, but he kind of falls in that T-Law range. Go ahead, Hammer. What are you going to say?
What about? I'm very interested in Olave.
Yeah.
I know it's not like a sexy name or anything or topic, but I mean his production is there, and I think it's interesting.
Yeah. I think it's
Olave.
It's just it's one of those
now,
Olave, definitely a good topic, I think. Let's do Olave then. I'm fine with that. Travis has even mentioned that a couple times. He really still loves Olave more than most. So, I think there are a lot of questions around this value. Don.
Yeah, and I love him, but there's also places I'm looking to sell him too and move on. So I think it's a good topic.
Off the top of my head, real quickly, I would say that most would probably want Tyson over Olave and Dynasty, I would think. But we'll take a poll tonight and see on the Dynasty channel. But I would much rather have Tyson. But it doesn't mean I don't like Olave. I mean, this is kind of similar to the T. Higgins, Jamar Chase situation. There is room in a high-octane offense. Even though Joe Burrow and the Bengals are a little bit different, we're still talking about a high-octane offense that will have enough, footballs to go around to feed both these guys. The question is who becomes the T. Higgins, or is Tyson so much lower than Jamar Chase, but still a wide receiver one, but maybe low end, maybe mid, that Olave can be higher than T. Higgins? Or is he T. Higgins, or is this T. Higgins and Olave's the slightly lower than Jamar Chase because he's not Jamar Chase? That will be an interesting topic as well, because some people I've heard a lot of people say I don't think Tyson can beat out Olave this year, but I don't understand why that is the case. I'm not saying it's a lock, but I certainly think Tyson has the chance to be better than Olave this year. But Olave still has a chance to be better than Tyson this year too. It's not a lock on either side. But They're both really, really good. I just think this is one of the more underrated dynasty wide receivers in Jordyn Tyson. I can't wait. Hammer, off the top of your head, which one are you going with, Tyson or Olave in redraft, and then Tyson Olave dynasty, and then we'll get out of here.
Just because like Chuck, he really surprised me. He surprised me, and I think he's the real deal. And I do think I'm gonna go with Olave for what he showed, and especially Chuck coming on when he literally did with him. I think that does play a big role. Like from who's his guy. I mean, he had a great year with him already. So I think that plays a big part as to why I would go Olave.
Yeah, and totally understandable. I think anybody saying that it's one for sure, that's not being truly honest with the situation. And, Olave, even, the concussions alone are a concern, an argument for the Tyson side. So there's just good argument all around on this. And here's Tyler Shuck's game log. Well, it doesn't show his rushing, which is a big part. So let me get Tyler Shuck's rushing.
I mean, unfortunately, I'm stuck watching the NFC East. I mean, the NFC South all the time. And, I mean, Olave just got no one ever talks about him like the Saints or even what Shuck was doing. Like, it was really impressive. And I again, it's if Olave gets hurt or when, and I try to not, I think you have to, but kind of avoid the hypothetical or the when. But I know obviously in Dynasty you have to, that plays a part. But from what I see right now,
yeah, he's solid right now. Here's his game log here. So you got to factor in the rushing because it was a big part of what he did. He had the 2 rushing touchdowns against Tampa Bay. He had the 1 rushing touchdown against the Falcons and some good rushing yards. But yeah, it was a good year. I honestly don't even think his season was representative of what his upside is too, because you look at his passing here, his passing touchdowns, and it wasn't like it was amazing. There was no 3 TD games. It was 1, 2, only 3 2-touchdown games. And, but he was just efficient, and he had those 300-yard passing games, which showed a lot of, upside. So I think Shuck's, what's to come is going to be impressive. I don't think I think we're all looking at his scrambling ability mixed with this, but and that is a part of it. But the fact that he could probably become a more consistent 2-touchdown passer, which especially adding a Jordyn Tyson, Shuck could be.
I mean, he was a rookie.
Yeah, Shuck could become.
They're going to throw a lot. Yeah. I think they're going to throw a ton.
Shuck could really become. He could become like the best Superflex QB too. He could be one of the best out there. Because he's probably not getting drafted as 1.
I think,
and he could be an elite 2 in Superflex.
So in Dynasty, I think I would take Tyson, but I think redraft, I lean Olave too, like Hammer said, because of the established, rapport they have, and he's a veteran, he's been there, he's done it. But I think it is a conversation just because of the difference in ADP. I know underdogs can be a little different from, home league, stuff like that. But when you have to take Olave at 33 and Tyson at 62, depending on who else is there at 33.
Yeah.
You could push me in the Tyson direction and redraft for that reason. But
what up?
I lean Olave.
Buzz says, "What up, Smitty? With rookie draft starting up, could you go over rookie draft ADPs and tell us who you like after the first? Thanks, Squad Rocks." Yeah, Buzz, that's like a whole show. Let's do that on the Dynasty channel. Going over all the rookies, it would be hard to do in this one setting. I would just say, in general, we don't even have a good ADP sense out there. It's all over the map. The unfortunate part about this particular season, or this particular group of rookies, is that once you get past 8 and 9, it starts to become a completely crap show, where people in the comments are like, "Oh, you can't believe you took him over Denzel Boston." I got Denzel Boston in the mid-second round, and people are like, "He's number 9." It's all over the place, and everyone's got an opinion. At the end of the day, I wouldn't even use ADP. The best I could tell you, Buzz, is to use the suggested rank to guide you in the first 9, 10, 11 picks so that you're not going crazy or ham on somebody that you can get in the second round or something. But when you get to 10 and 11 and you like a Jonah Coleman at 8 or 9 and he's projected to go 12 or 14, just take him, take your guy. It gets thin really quick. It's not that it's a bad draft class. We've always said this. It's just a thin draft class. And so I'm liking guys like Chris Bell at 10, 11, 12 instead of at 15 or 18. And people will comment all the time like, Smitty, you're way off on. I don't care. I don't want to draft somebody I don't want to draft. But you do have to be careful not to reach on, a certain player like, Amari Cooper Jr., who he's not in the greatest spot right now. So if you're taking him at 7, and I'd rather you go in a different direction. Like Casey Concepcion, I have ahead of Makai Lemon, but the ADP doesn't. So do you trade down? It's a whole different, Buzz, that'd be a monstrous show to do at the end of this show. But I appreciate the question, and hopefully that helps you a little bit. But I would say once you get past Jordyn Tyson 2, Carnell Tate 3, Price 4, or you could go Price 3, Carnell Tate 4, and Casey Concepcion, and then it's that's where the line gets drawn. It gets really, really different and all over the place, and I almost don't even care about ADP at that point to a degree. And I'm trading down where I can, but because it's the wild, wild west out there in terms of the 8 to 2.12, so the 8 overall, the 1.8 to the 2.12, because it's all over the map, trading down you might lose the guy you want because there's really no ADP. Dribbling slept on. If you say so, Wayne. If you're a Niner fan, where's your Niner avatar, bro? Stribling's being slept on. Stribling's not going to see the field, bro. Maybe later on, but I don't know, bro. I have no idea why you think Stribling's going to get in there. This is Shanahan. He's not going to use his rookies. Pearsall, you got Mike Evans, you've got Kittle, you've got Christian McCaffrey, you've got so many mouths to feed. Could he be an interesting dynasty prospect maybe later on? I suppose there's some potential there.
I like him in dynasty. But
yeah, if you're expecting anything soon, it's not going to happen. Available targets, no, bro. I don't know where you're getting that. All right, guys, I'll see you tonight at midnight. Hammer, anything else?
No, sir. I appreciate it.
Travis, anything else? All right, see you at midnight. Later, bro.
Bye.
All right, we're out of here. Appreciate every single one of you. I don't think anybody else is on the phone line. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you guys for the super chats. Hammer with the Dublays. Simi Valley dropping one. BBQ dropping a doozy tonight. We've got Racing Boy. Appreciate you. The Buzz. Appreciate you. The Buzz. Overcome. Junior says London. Yeah, that one. London for 1.3. London by a mile. BBQ Racing Boy. Wentworth. Appreciate you. We're live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Whenever big news breaks, we're live as well. And then we're live at midnight Eastern almost every single night. We'll be live on Underdog. Promo code Smitty. Underdog will match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. So hit the link I'm going to drop in the live chat right now and start getting ready to draft tonight. The link's in the description as well. Code Smitty gets it done as well. But don't wait to sign up. Just sign up now. Even if you're watching the replay, sign up now. It takes 2-3 minutes. And you'll be ready to go. Minimum of $10 too. They'll match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. So you do the minimum of $10, they'll give you $5, and then you can draft in 3 different $5 drafts and have 3 drafts at any time you want. You can draft whenever you want on Underdog. Every day is draft day. So we'll see you over on the same channel here, and then the Dynasty channel later after that. But at midnight Eastern, see you all there. Don't forget to get on over to my TheFantasyFootballShow.com, which is my content site. Bold predictions, trade calculators. Been doing this 25 years professionally, doing the content thing since 2002, 2003. I got in the business because there wasn't a trade calculator. And I said, I'll do it myself. Innovated and created the trade calculator, the draft simulator, all this content here, 25 years of experience and and tweaking and tools. These tools are amazing. This is the only place you need to go. It's been there for I've been creating content, written content for 25 plus years. This has been honed in and sculpted into the best player pages you can find, in my opinion, period. So check that out. And also don't forget to get on over to the Patreon. Let me drop the link to the content first. So this is the website info. Hit that link right there. That's the trade calculators, bold predictions, projections, my content, my written content. And then here is the link to the Patreon. The Patreon is a 24/7, 365 live chat group, $10 a month, cancel anytime. So if you want a chat group like, oh, I hear somebody say in my chat group with the boys, here it is, $10 a month, cancel anytime, 24/7, 365 live chatting. See you all at midnight Eastern. Appreciate every single one of you. Exciting news too on the rankings. I implemented a new product today, or a new piece of a product where, you know how it's my rankings have a $200 auction dollar amount, and the trade calculator is based off a $200 auction. I've added both to my trade calculator and the rankings the ability to change that purse from 200 to 250 to 300 to 1,000 to 500 to 750 to 800 to 900. So if your league goes off of a $250 purse or a $300 purse or 1,000, it will change the dollar amounts proportionally in the rankings, and also the trade calculator answers and considerations in the trade calculator. So go check it out. That is up live on TheFantasyFootballShow.com. See you all at midnight Eastern.